Since the outbreak of COVID-19 and the increasing scale of the infection, citizens have been forced to shift their daily living patterns and to live in their limited scale and less dimensional neighborhoods. Many services, entertainment, and social venues are no longer achievable. What if these changes become long-term or permanent? It is an opportunity to push people to adapt and to explore new living patterns and spaces through their daily surroundings. The limitation of living areas prompted me to revisit the closest public spaces to our daily life, the in-between spaces, between buildings and buildings to a block, and further reconceptualize the relationship between a neighborhood and its housings. I propose a new concept of future park neighborhood as a living unit by merging underutilized backyards, backlands, and unused voids to break the restrictions of land boundaries to create a more diverse and multi-dimensional public living space within a neighborhood. We share to gain more. Richmond has a typical Melbourne street profile. Its long history has created the diversity of housing types within neighborhood blocks, and these diverse types further form irregular, rich, and interesting in-between spaces. I will explore all kinds of variability in it in order to expand people's quarantine area from a housing unit to a block unit. The block will provide as much as possible the experience that can be felt in the city in the past, and balance the boundaries between public and private domains. The types of houses in the block I picked include apartment building, townhouse, and detached house. Many buildings have additional buildings behind them. I use several criteria to classify these in-between spaces, such as public and private areas, elevation, space type, degree of use, active or passive, and record the ground objects and construction materials of the existing space to analyze the possibility and variability of future space development. Then I integrated the exploration with my survey of existing buildings, building heights, terrain records, and the distribution of existing vegetation to make a comprehensive analysis and the potential development direction of the site. My goal is to achieve the maximum benefit with minimal intervention in the first stage of block retrofit. In order to transform the block as a living unit, I categorize 5 divisions for future use: natural, commercial, office or business, social and services oriented, and further derived 2 mixed-use spaces. According to the above analysis, I will utilize the large and low-lying integrated space in the block to shape a more private experience to provide residents a small unit of relaxing space, and combine with the resilience design to enrich the vegetation in the block and to softly divide the boundary between public and private spaces. The central area will be retrofitted to provide a neighborhood center with diverse services, workspaces, and spaces to hold events, and also serve as the connection between static and dynamic living areas. In the eastern half, the dense residential form is used to integrate the backyard space to shape the mixed use of commercial and social spaces. As for design exploration, I absorb different intervention toward in-between spacing through architecture to landscape, temporal to permanent. I set up 3 directions to start with: scale, privacy, and length of intervention. I use bridges, terraces of different types and elevations, and additional roofs to connect and bind buildings in small blocks to increase the scale of the space and the privacy of different levels. On the ground level, integration and sharing are the core. Breaking the segregation between indoor and outdoor and the boundary between lots and lots provides the possibility of different activities. These measures will break the traditional perception of the front yard and the backyard. The space inside the ground floor of the house will be explored. Design exploration is still in progress. In the next stage, I will further explore the possibility of building, renovation, and integrating external space.